There is no discussion within the government with regard to the post of a Deputy Prime Minister, says GL Pires. STF deployed for the security at the prisons in Colombo. Appeal court decision on the warrant against the Kurunagala mayor will be delivered tomorrow.
A very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Posha. Let's start off with a look at your local stories. Minister Professor GL Pires says that there is no discussion in the government regarding a Deputy Prime Minister post at present. Minister Professor GL Pires stated this at a press conference held in Colombo today.
Our reporter on location said that the minister said the new amendment to the constitution will be brought forward in parliament before a budget is presented. According to the minister, there will be a complete structural change basing the independent commissions as well as the constitutional council. Our reporter noted that Minister Pires is of the view that these commissions are not independent. The journalist had questioned the minister as to when a new constitution will be brought forward. The minister has replied that there should be a broad discussion about it and that attention will be drawn towards the human rights aspect as well as amending the election law. He also noted that there should be further discussion about the 13th Amendment and how it will be included in the new constitution. The minister added that there are no official talks within the government regarding a post of the Deputy Prime Minister.
Police Special Task Force has been deployed for the protection of the prisons in Colombo.
Prisons Commissioner Chandana Ekanayaka said that the Police Special Task Force will be deployed to protect Valikada, Colombo Remand, Magazine, Valikada Women's Unit and the prison ward from today. He noted that the decision was reached to ensure that illegal items are not smuggled into the prison and to ensure security.
In more local news, the graduates who were not included in the list of employed graduates commenced a protest march in Colombo today. The group claimed that their names have been removed from the list of employed graduates. The graduates marched from opposite the Fort Railway Station to the Presidential Secretariat. Our correspondent said several representatives of the graduates were allowed to enter the Presidential Secretariat. The rest of the group are currently remaining at the agitation site near the Presidential Secretariat. Meanwhile, Samagi Janabalawega MP Niroshan Pereira states that a decision regarding the leadership of the UNP should be taken respecting the mandate of the people. He made these remarks at the party meeting at the Mahakumbhu Kadavala.
For the first time in history, a UNPA was not elected as an MP to the parliament. We are troubled by what has happened to our party. We knew the consequences of not making any changes to the party. We pointed it out then. There was a situation where tensions escalated when a faction of the UNP left the party and joined the Samagi Janabalawega. We will not criticize the UNP. I carried out my campaign activities without insulting anyone. We do not like it when the UNP stoops to that level. Now the UNP must respect the decision of the people and make the necessary changes surrounding the party leadership.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says the opposition will carry out its responsibilities until the government fulfills the promises. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa expressed the following views when he attended a welcoming ceremony in the Kuppiyavatta area. He paid a floral tribute to the statue of late President Ranasinghe Premadasa.
Our responsibility is to monitor and be aware of whether the government is fulfilling their promises. They said they will provide a grocery bag worth 3,000 rupees for underprivileged families. It is our responsibility to make sure they deliver the promise. We will also remember that we also presented a concessionary program, but the people said the SLPP's program is better than ours. We are requesting the government to fulfill the promise for the people who are desperately in need of it.
Moving
on, Mr. Jayasuriya says that he has informed the present party leadership and senior members of the party that he can accept the challenge of leading the UNP. He said in a statement that the decision was taken for the betterment of the party in Sri Lanka after considering the current situation and the demands made by many parties. Jayasuriya points out that the current situation of the UNP has caused great concern to the entire party and to the citizens who value progress and democracy in this country. Jayasuriya says that to protect the party, the clergy representing all religions, especially the Sangha, former MPs and ministers representing the UNP, pro-party and pro-country, intellectuals, some party leaders working in collaboration with the UNP, provincial councils and local government representatives, trade unions affiliated to the party, youth organizations as well as civil society organizations that value democracy in this country have made demands of themselves. Karujai Surya says that all those parties have pointed out that the last chance has come to prevent the party from becoming non-existent in the forthcoming elections. Moving on, the Court of Appeal today extended the order issued against the enactment of the warrant issued by the Kurunegala Magistrates Court on the 7th for the arrest of 5 suspects, including the Mayor of Kurunegala, Tushara Sanjeeva Vitharana. The extension was granted till tomorrow. Our correspondent noted that the Court of Appeal is expected to deliver the verdict tomorrow. This was informed when the case was taken up before the Court of Appeal judges A.H.M.B. Nawaz and Rohita Rajakarna. This was over the archaeological site destruction in Kurunegala.
Former Provincial Councillor Namal Karunaratne visited the site of the demolished building in Kurunegala this morning.
රාජසභා මණ්ඩපය ඩෝසර් කරලා අද වෙනකොට දින 40 පැන්නා.
Now, it is more than 40 days since the King's Assembly Hall was demolished. At present, there are 5 complaints lodged regarding this matter with the police. We reviewed the Municipal Council Act. Based on Clause 42A of the Act, the Municipal Council has the right to remove a structure without any owners. However, this is not such a structure. What this means is that when someone constructs a building on a land belonging to the government or Municipal Council, they can remove it. Even that process has to be informed to the respective individual, and a 2 weeks notice should be provided. If they don't demolish it, the Municipal Council has the power to demolish the structure. This is not the case when it comes to this building. There is a process for it. Section 66 of the Municipal Council Act says the Council has the power to remove any unsafe buildings. This is not such a building either. Even for such a building, the Municipal Council should provide 3 days notice to the owners before it is demolished. Until such time, the Council can construct a fence around the building to prevent the people from entering. They have not taken such measures. This is the reason why the Archaeological Department has lodged 4 complaints. How did a structure belonging to another entity be demolished without any approval from the Municipal Council by the Mayor for his own benefits?
නගර සභාවේ කිසිම අවසරයක් නැතුව නගරාධිපතිගේ හිතුමතේට කොහොමද මහරෑ මේ විදිහට ඩෝසර් කෙරුවේ?
In some tragic local news, a father and his daughter died following an accident that occurred in Madavala along the Kandy Kurunegala road. Police said the accident had occurred after a container collided with a car that was travelling in the opposite direction and fell on top of another car. 6 individuals who sustained severe injuries were admitted to the hospital, while 2 of them succumbed to their injuries. The deceased was a 2-year-old child and her 36-year-old father. According to police, the deceased are residents of Nilamba.
Taking a look at some news from overseas, Sonia Gandhi has told her aides that she does not want to continue as interim Congress president, sources said yesterday, amid a massive controversy over a letter by more than 20 top party leaders calling for sweeping reforms, introspection and a full-time visible leadership.
Sonia Gandhi, aged 73, will either resign immediately or give the party a deadline to find a new chief, sources said, ahead of a meeting of the Congress Working Committee, the party's top decision-making body, today. The letter suggests that the Gandhis, who have led the party for most of its 134-year history, can remain an integral part of a collective leadership. Mrs. Gandhi has decided that the matter will be discussed at the Working Committee today.
The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection said fires in California incinerated homes, buildings and protected forests as nearly 24 massive wildfires continued to ravage parts of California, fueled by high temperatures and ongoing lightning strikes, including 100 that hit on Friday.
The fires have killed 6 people and incinerated nearly 700 buildings since beginning after an earlier lightning storm last week. Together, the blazes have burnt nearly 1 million acres, according to the agency. Wildfires threatening parts of the San Francisco Bay Area, the forested region near the University of California at Santa Cruz, and a wide swathe of the area between San Francisco and the state capital of Sacramento. The White House said yesterday President Donald Trump declared the fires to be a major disaster. The declaration, which allows federal funds to be used to help people and businesses harmed by the fires in 7 counties to pay for temporary housing, home repairs and other needs, came despite a threat from Trump earlier this week to withhold aid from California. Now nearly 14,000 firefighters have been deployed to the blazes.
As twin hurricanes threaten the Caribbean and the U.S. Gulf Coast, U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday called it an unprecedented threat as Hurricane Marco is forecast to hit the Louisiana coast today. It will be followed by Tropical Storm Laura, now over the Dominican Republic and Haiti and heading toward Cuba, and expected to strengthen to a hurricane before striking the Gulf Coast on Thursday.
Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards yesterday warned the state's residents that tropical storm force winds would arrive by this morning and they should be ready to ride out both storms Marco and Laura. Laura could strengthen and become a Category 2 or 3 hurricane and move west closer to the Houston-Galveston area, bringing flooding rains late Wednesday or Thursday. National Hurricane Center forecaster Stacey Stewart warned yesterday back-to-back hurricanes arriving at the U.S. coast within days could result in prolonged period of hazardous weather. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has sent teams to emergency operations centers in state capitals in Louisiana and Texas, said spokesman Earl Armstrong. The agency is prepared to handle back-to-back storms, he said, pointing to 2004 when 4 hurricanes took aim at Florida in a 6-week period.
Now, armed police and sniffer dogs patrolled Christchurch Court today, hours before the gunman who killed 51 Muslim worshippers in New Zealand's worst mass shooting is expected to appear before a judge. Brenton Tarrant, an Australian, has pleaded guilty to 51 murder charges, 40 charges of attempted murder and 1 charge of committing a terrorist act. Faces a life prison term, possibly without parole, after multi-day sentencing hearings starting today morning at Christchurch in the city where the attacks took place.
The attacks on the 15th of March last year prompted a global outpouring of grief as well as scrutiny, with regulations imposed on online platforms after the then 28-year-old live-streamed the mosque shootings shortly after uploading a manifesto. Some survivors will be allowed in the courtroom for their first encounter with Tarrant since the shootings. High Court Judge Cameron Mander will hear about 66 victim impact statements, according to the court. Tarrant, who is representing himself, will be allowed to speak before sentencing. A murder conviction carries a mandatory sentence of life in prison. The judge can impose a life term without parole, a sentence that has never been used in New Zealand. Live reporting from the courtroom is banned and other restrictions have been put in place on what the media can report.
The Republican National Convention gets underway in just about 12 hours from now, with the eyes of the political world laser focused on what President Donald Trump will do. While the First Lady's speech on Tuesday night isn't likely to have any sort of major impact on the political landscape, it will without a doubt be one of the most watched addresses of the 4-night convention. And now back to the studio with Portia Hetiarachi.
Thank you, Sasha, for that comprehensive update. With that, it's a wrap of lunchtime news here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Portia. Take care and good day.